Can I start with maybe just, I know last time you took that big hit against the Rams and you jokingly said you couldn't open your jaw and you had needles in your jaw. You got kind of banged up the other day. How is your health now and how have the last few days been?
Good. I mean, I think when you play QB in the NFL, you're going to get some bumps and bruises, and just part of it. And yeah, it's no issues today. It was full participant in practice, and feeling good.
Curious about like the off the field responsibilities with like how much being the starting quarterback. You know, you saw you at the charity, like 2 charity events, Pelicans game. How do you kind of handle like the increased responsibilities with that, and what does that mean?
I mean, it's a blessing and it's an honor too to be able to do that and kind of to interact with the community and interact with people all over. So, but I won't do it if I have to change my process as far as preparation wise. And the Saints have been really good about just integrating that. So I'll make sure whatever I'm doing on Tuesday, doesn't change week to week. And then when I have that time, my wife and everybody, they've been really good about just like, hey, we have this hour, we can go do this. And, but yeah, it's just a great opportunity, especially if we have the availability.
So you don't feel like you're like being stretched like too thin or anything like that?
No, I won't. Like I said, I won't do it if I have to change the preparation for it, and I'm still learning every single week, but I feel really good about it. And I think it's also a priority as well. I think a lot of that stuff matters because I remember as a younger player and specifically Cam and a lot of people looking up to that and having those opportunities. And I think that would be so cool if I got to do that one day. And obviously, what a great deal it is.
How much synergy do you feel like? Obviously, you got here, it was all new, just even over the last few weeks, because, for a lot of us here, we heard about Breeze and Peyton. They kind of knew what the other one was going to call and what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. Just maybe the synergy you're developing with Kellen and with Nuss and how much better it feels now than maybe you even did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think whenever you're installing the offense for the first time, and especially just through OTAs and camp, it's the first time you've ever heard that play, let alone ran it, and you're trying to run it to the best of its ability, and oftentimes it's not the exact look that you want. So there's that growing pains that you go through and that you guys may see during camp, and a lot of those, times where you never run it before. And I think the more you run it, the more you kind of get the comfortability with them. You understand, why are we calling it, the reasons why, and it just speeds up the process with some of the things. And that's why, you see guys that have played for so long just kind of having that mental processing quickness within the same offense that they played in. So for me, just kind of continue to master it and do everything I can to operate the offense.
I remember you told us this summer how you kind of were playing your best football sooner than your best when you started mimicking game-like situations as opposed to the install. Is there any kind of comp to like the early game script versus when when you're in 2 minute, when you're playing catch up, when you're like, because it feels like all your best work is coming kind of like in second halves and third downs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of flows of the game. I think the defense, they obviously do a really good job, prepping as well, and they're gonna throw different looks out and have a game plan for us as well, and we have to do our job of operating within our own game plan. But for me, I think when anybody is just you're operating in that kind of flow state where you're just, you're prepared, you're not thinking, but you're just playing football. That's where you're trying to be at. And I heard Double D say it multiple times. If you're in the right spot, your eyes are in the right spot. And he was talking for defensive wise, but then you can just play from there. So I think how do you get to that through preparation, through being in the right spot?
What do you think has worked well in terms of getting more looks in the middle of the field? That's an area that's kind of been on the uptick the last few years.
I mean, really good route detail from the receivers. I think they've done a really good job just kind of mastering the offense in their own right. And then obviously you got big targets with Devon Vela and Chris and all those guys. Kelvin made some really good catches as well. So I just think part of it, and it depends week to week, on who we're playing. But I think if we can kind of spread it all over the field, that's our goal.
Are defenses like kind of playing differently to where like
excuse me,
now there's those opportunities? Like how much does the opponent have to do with that?
I would say almost 100% with it. I mean, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna try and attack it, every space of grass, and if that's what they're gonna, if there's the cavity there, then I'm gonna throw it.
How different have these like we saw you obviously thrive in those late game situations on Sunday. How different has it been operating in those circumstances at the NFL level compared to college, and how have you kind of seen yourself grow in those situations as of late?
I mean, I think it's just a complete different world as far as, in college, you maybe can get through multiple parts of your progression. I think that's the case in the NFL sometimes, but I think you have to be really dialed pre-snap on where you're going with the ball, and then obviously operating post-snap and just being great, with your feet and eyes and tying those together. So, like I said before, if you feel prepared in those moments, and I think a lot of that entire drive, couple of last drives, the whole offense was prepared for every single scenario. So it's just another rep of doing it.
How has at practice, have you all been able to kind of really replicate those moments well, and what do you think has kind of helped you kind of prepare for that?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to Kelvin and us and all the staff of just providing some of those scenarios where, at the time you're like, oh man, this may not come up, or we're watching just football fundamentals throughout the week of different teams, and it shows up every single week, and you got to be prepared for it.
The ball came out really fast. His daily time to throw was down like 2-4 range. Is that a plan going in to get the ball out quickly? Is it just the product of being more decisive as you get more comfortable?
I think a little bit of both. I think it depends on what you're getting. As far as if you're playing a man team, maybe a little bit more man, you might have a little bit more time to separate, or if he wins an out, it really depends on what the call is. But I think it's just a credit to the O-line and being able to protect, and then also the receivers getting open in a short amount of time. So I'm not sure as far as specifically that, but I think overall you obviously don't want to hang on it too long.
What stands out about the rhythm you created with Juwan Johnson since you guys have been playing together?
I mean, we meet individually at least 2 or 3 times a week, just kind of walking through it and talking through plays, and that's just a credit to him and his work ethic and just who he is as a person. And I think he's such a physical threat, and then mentally he's prepared as well. So it's hard not to try to find that guy, and obviously I've got a great relationship with him, and I think that's just a natural part of playing football too, and that's why it's so important to develop those relationships. And I think we've all kind of gotten closer throughout this year, and that just makes it more fun.
What was the extent of the working relationship before? Low volume, high volume?
Before I was a starter?
When you were in college?
Oh, when I was in college.
Did you work with him much? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we would obviously throughout practice, and we were roommates throughout the season. So we were roommates in the hotels, and so we spent a lot of time together off the field. But on the field, there really wasn't like a chemistry that way. So this has kind of been the first time I've been really, really working with him. But I actually threw with him in the draft process, and it was kind of a full circle moment training with him in Dallas actually. And we were like, well, it'd be crazy if we could play together again. And sure enough.
And what do you like about him as a target? When he's getting open, like what advantage do you bring?
I mean, I think just his frame. I think he's obviously a bigger body. He's got long arms. He's friendly to the quarterback. He's making tough catches. He's got good hands. So he's kind of everything you want in kind of a big receiver, but he's the physicality of a tight end as well. So he kind of prevents just a unique element to defenses. I think it's really tough to game plan for.
Talked to Kelvin on Monday. Kind of your path has allowed you to work with pretty much the entire roster throughout the season. Do you think that your time with the scout team is kind of a blessing in disguise when you get into a 3rd and long in the 4th quarter, and it's Luke at center, and you're finding Kelvin down the field for a first down?
Yeah. 100%. I think without scout team, I wouldn't have had any of the success or any of the learning lessons that I've had to this point, and not continually. I have to continue to do what I can to make every single rep live, and I think that's what I learned the most from that time was there's not any reps that you're going to get that are going to be a full game-like rep, but if you can make it 99% like it, then that's going to be better off, and you have to take advantage of it. So, yeah, I feel like operating with Luke, Kevin, Dante, all those guys. Sometimes Devon would hop in there for a little bit, and so it helped me out so much being able to kind of just feel and relate it with all those guys. Is just another rep.
What is your relationship with Kelvin?
KB, he's awesome. He's one of my favorite just offensive linemen I've been around because he's kind of, usually especially if you get drafted early, younger guys in the age of NIL, like you can kind of have this maybe think you're the greatest guy ever, and he's the most humble, hardworking dude I've ever been around, and I think he's got a really bright future here. And he's been balling as well. Like he's got every reason to kind of to not be who he is, and I think he's one of the favorites on the team just because he comes to work every single day. He's the same dude, and then he's showing it as well.
We've had a lot of changes on offense since you took over as a starter, whether it's players leaving or players getting injured, and Bailey and Neal out this week. What's the challenge of getting up to speed with someone's replacement when we only have 3 days to do it?
Yeah, I think it's just urgent communication as far as just, you're not changing the process of what we're doing, like, on your own preparation wise, but there is an extra uptick of, hey, like the footwork on this handoff rep with Audric and Evan and how we want, this time up and working with all the guys, the receivers afterwards and making sure that this feels good for this route. So there's a lot of extra work that goes in, outside of practice. But yeah, I mean, it is tough. You can't replicate, weeks, months of chemistry. But at the end of the day, I think all the guys that have gotten the opportunity and that are going to continue to get the opportunity have stepped up, and we're going to continue to rely on them.
I mean, the post-game press conference, you sang the remix, and you saw that guy's shirt after. Have you noticed? I know everyone's been welcoming since you've arrived at town. A change since you've been the starter, specifically of how fans have reacted to you or welcomed you in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever you're playing and you're operating throughout the season, you win, good things will happen. I think that's the part of the game. I'm just trying to embrace the city and the culture as much as I can and do my job and have fun. And I don't put too much stock into what people's opinions of me because I know it's going to change. But I think whenever we can kind of come to work each day, have fun doing it, and get people to watch the Saints, that's my whole goal.
Did you, and maybe you didn't, Aaron Glenn has history here, was a coach here, he played here. I know they were a team, even though they signed deals that were on Twitter. Did you meet with them at all? Did you have a 30 visit with them? Or, I don't know if you had any relationship or even just a moment where you met him? Yeah,
I got to visit the Jets on a 30 visit and got a lot of respect for them. I think just who they are as an organization, the coaching staff, I think they do a really good job. I remember visiting there and was a huge fan of him and just his coaching style. So I think they got a really good group and we got to be prepared for them because they've got a history of really good defenses and they have a good defense. And I know they've got some pieces come and go just like us. So it's part of the game, and I know they're going to be ready to go.
Along those same lines, did you get to develop with Brady Cook during the couple months ago?
No, I met him a couple times, but I think he did the Shrine or the East West, the East West Bowl. So I didn't get to spend too much time with him, but I know he's a good quarterback, really athletic. So I know our defense will be prepared for.
The way the game played out for Olave, one catch up until the last 2 drives of the game, and had 4 or 5 to lose. That unique, right? How will you synthesize your take, stick with you?
Yeah, sometimes it just happens within the flow of the game where we may try and get the ball to him, or just it doesn't work out that way. And but it's just kind of a credit to him and his mindset of, he didn't flinch no matter what. I think he was the same dude throughout the whole game. Coming up to me, hey, I'm talking to him the whole time, and he just stayed ready for that moment. I think, and what an unbelievable job by him just to kind of continue to strain that whole drive. And it's obviously not easy to kind of be that mentally dialed and physically dialed to show up big that late. So that's just who he is, and we got to continue to rely on him.
I've heard the term strain a lot. Is that something that the coach brought in specifically?
No, I think it's just a buzzword that, it's perfectly descriptive of just mentally straining. Like, it's just focus, and then obviously physical. How can you kind of give that extra 1%, whatever it's going to be? So, and that's often the difference maker in games.
Okay. Sorry, bro. Can you feel any kind of difference in just the vibe in the locker room or at practice after winning 2 straight for the first time all year? You completely mentioned something about feeling like week 3 in the locker room after the last game, and I just wonder if you could expand on that's carried over.
I think that comment is derived from it's felt the same regardless of the outcome. Like, we have been having fun going to work with each other every single day, regardless of the outcome. And I think that, to me, it shows a lot about the identity of this team, is because it's easy to get caught up into that. But regardless of whether you win or lose, you still have to come work really hard every single day. And obviously, when you have that result and you win, that's a great thing, but you have to move on from it and flush it and kind of continue that same urgency. And it's been the same, and that's what makes it fun, being around all the guys. So that's been the difference I've kind of seen throughout this kind of later push in the season, and that ability that we all want to do and finish strong.
I'm kind of expecting the answer to be no, because you're probably 1 or 2 years old. The Saints have honored legends of the game. Jimmy Graham was here, you probably remember him. The guy this week is, kind of a cult hero here for the moment that happened against the Jets. Kyle Turley. Have you seen the video, or do you even know what I'm talking about?
I have not yet, no. I'm looking forward to watching it, though.
It's wild.
It'll remind you of professional wrestling.
What year was it?
01.
01? Okay, yeah.
Just Google Kyle Turley helmet.
There's also a very young J-Mac walking him off the field.
Prepping him.
You mentioned your wife earlier, and also when you first became starter. Are you getting any interesting performance reviews when you go home?
Yeah, she's usually the hardest one on me, and as far as just performance-wise, and I think that's a good thing, is just kind of keeping it. There's a lot of stuff that was still left out there, but she's a fan of the music video or whatever as well. She thought that was pretty funny, but no, I think continually we got to evaluate and find how we can get better, and she's a big proponent of that.
And then the Saints are favored this week. I think it's been a while. I know you don't care about the point spread, but it's kind of a reflection on team playing better, maybe.
I don't really care. They're a really good football team, and they got guys injured, we got guys injured, so we got to go out there and play. So we got to be prepared, because they're gonna they got a new defensive coordinator, and they're gonna have a new guy calling it. So we got to be ready to go.
You expect to see different wrinkles. When you mentioned the new defensive coordinator, what in particular? Why do you mention that? Why do you bring that up?
It's just because it's a fact. I don't know. That is a different guy calling it, but it's Aaron Glenn's team, and so we got to be ready for anything.
I don't think they've had an interception this year. Does that add anything to you as a quarterback? It's like, don't be the guy.
No. We got to. I think that's more of an emphasis on them to try and take the ball away, and that's every single team. Yeah, we have to protect the ball, and do what we can, and the defense's job is to do the opposite of that, and that's what our defense is preaching. So we just have to, like I said before, go back to our process, ball security, and do everything that we can to go out there and score.